What is going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a great day so far. This is your stimulus check update and stimulus package update. $1,400 payments, $2,000 payments, and even $1,000 stimulus checks are all on the table.
Biden this morning predicting bipartisan support for his plan.
I think we'll get some Republicans.
But right now, Democrats are signaling, if need be, they're ready to go it alone and go big.
We want to do it bipartisan, but we must be strong.
Folks, it looks like the Democrats are ready to approve a third stimulus check. In this video, I'll be going over the latest stimulus check news. And I'll be answering all of the questions that you guys left me in the last video. And once again, I'm still doing an Amazon gift card giveaway. If you want to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and give my video a like. My message to our politicians is to help the people in need. The great American people need a third stimulus check. If you folks agree with me, then leave a comment down below saying I agree. In regards to the $50 Amazon gift card giveaway, I'll be announcing several winners this Saturday if we hit 50,000 subscribers. So folks, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can win a free gift card. But the big question is, how much will our third stimulus check be, and when will we receive it?
There's still daylight between the president's relief proposal and the one from Republicans, like on those stimulus checks. President Biden wants $1,400 to go to many Americans. Republicans suggesting $1,000 to fewer people making less money. The president's calling for $170 billion to reopen schools. The GOP plan, $20 billion. And on unemployment insurance, the White House is proposing $350 billion versus the Republicans' $132 billion. Top GOP lawmakers now questioning whether the president really wants the unity he promised on the campaign trail.
We're off to a totally partisan start.
President Biden so far has avoided incremental moves in favor of much broader ones, and not just on the economic recovery.
The great American people need either a $1,400 check or a $2,000 monthly payment. If you guys agree with me, then leave a comment down below saying I agree.
I rise today to oppose the previous question, and I do so in support of our students. Our amendment would ensure that students get back in schools safely and soon. Students have been out of classroom for far too long, and the costs of at-home learning are far greater than we could have ever imagined, especially when it comes to mental health of our kids. My bill, the Reopen Schools Act, would prioritize state COVID relief grants for education for schools that are reopening. It would require schools to offer at least partial in-person learning in order to receive these federal pandemic relief funds. These funds were intended to help students get back into the classroom safely, taking important precautions. Congress sent states this money so we could reopen schools safely, and yet this hasn't happened in so many communities across our country. I am so proud of our home state of Iowa for already taking a stand for students and requiring schools to offer an in-person learning option.
Now folks, here's the stimulus check news. Joe Biden said last Friday, the relief bill has to pass. No ifs, ands, or buts. The White House has been reaching out to Republicans to get some bipartisan support for Biden's plan. But if that doesn't come, Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer have introduced a budget measure that can allow the Democrats to pass the $1,400 checks and other stimulus aid by themselves. Pelosi and Schumer said in a joint statement, with this budget resolution, the Democratic Congress is paving the way for the landmark Biden-Harris stimulus package.
In eventually getting to an ultimate package. And they're doing so by using budget reconciliation, which is kind of a fancy term of saying to the relevant committees who would handle each portion of this bill, this is how much you get to spend what you're going to spend, and get us a bill back to the House and Senate floor, and we'll vote on it. And we only need a majority of each chamber to do so. And so by doing that, it's essentially cutting Republicans and the sway that Republicans would have out of the equation, because Democrats can pass ultimately whatever they decide to approve in those committees to the president with only a majority vote in the Senate. And so that's why Republicans, their backs are up against the wall a bit. And we've heard Republicans today on the House floor, at least, saying that, part of the reason they're opposed to this budget reconciliation and the way that the Democrats are going about this is because the president came in saying that he wanted bipartisanship.
Now Congress is still divided on the details of the package, and Democrats are ready to use the reconciliation process. And that's the good news, folks. That's something we have to look forward to. Democrats can pass the bill, Democrats could pass the bill very soon.
But the Washington Post found that roughly 1/3 of all K-12 school districts in the United States right now are only offering virtual learning. So this means 1/3 of our classrooms are closed. 1/3 of our school playgrounds are still roped off. And the cost of this goes well beyond academics. Child depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges are surging. The science shows kids need to be back in school. Even the CDC has confirmed schools are not high
recognized
transmission.
for 2 additional minutes.
Thank you. Young kids have an extremely low infection rate right now, a low transmission rate, and a low rate of serious illness from COVID-19. And yet they're forced to stay home and learn from behind a computer screen. That is, if these kids have access to computers and broadband internet. For many students, especially those in rural Iowa, virtual learning is not easy. It's not just going downstairs and logging onto the family computer. It's sitting in the parking lot of the Cedar Rapids Public Library, logging onto the Wi-Fi to finish homework or take a test. So it's no surprise that our most vulnerable students are the ones who will and are suffering the most. Isolation, lack of social support, added stress, and the environmental strain of this lockdown have gone on far too long. Kids and families are suffering. As a mom of 2 school-age kids, this issue is personal to me. This issue is personal to all parents. It's personal to all families who care about their kids' well-being. Kids need to be in school. We can get them back behind a desk instead of in front of a screen, and we can do so safely. That's exactly why we allocated funds for this purpose. It's past time for states and local school districts to stop hoarding these resources and use them for their intended purpose, to pay for science-based safety measures that get students and teachers back in the classroom with less risk. That's why my bill would condition a portion of the $54 billion Congress sent to states for K-12 schools in December on reopening their doors. 1/3 of the education funds provided would be immediately available right now, with the remaining 2/3 available to schools in increasing amounts as they move to reopen. Schools with at least 50% of students in person attendance, at least 50% of the time, would receive the full amount of funding.
Under Biden's plan, people earning more than $75,000 will receive reduced payments until they're phased down to zero at a currently unknown income cap. Without a final package, it's unclear if a 2020 tax return could be the basis for eligibility, but both the CARES Act and the package that was passed in December used a person's most recent return. In addition, folks, Biden's $1,400 stimulus checks phased out gradually to zero, but the income cap is not yet known. Under the CARES Act last March, it was $99,000. The December stimulus phased out at $87,000 income. If the formula used in the previous 2 proposals remains the same, then more people will qualify for at least a partial payment. However, there's still a chance that Congress changes that before putting the bill together.